What's that? Is it time?
Get upset alert time?
It's upset alert time, baby. We are going to give out a couple upset picks here. We have probably hit what, 6 or 7
I was going
weeks
to
in a
say, don't
row.
gloss over this, bro. I'll give us our flowers here. 6 weeks in a row. Tyler or I, it's usually been him. I finally nailed one last week with Rutgers beating Maryland straight up at Maryland as a 6.5 point dog, or 6 point dog. But 6 weeks in a row, one of these picks that we've given out have not only covered, but have won straight up. And we've had multiple that have actually covered, and not just they didn't win straight up, but they covered. But we have somehow nailed one of these every single week. And so as soon as I'm giving us our flowers, we're going to lose this week. But still, whatever. I have confidence in this, man. I'll let you go first.
Yeah, mine's I'm gonna put USC on upset alert. 4.5 point favorites over UCLA, and it's a crosstown rivalry. Beautiful, beautiful uniform
I was going to say
matchup.
best uniform matchup of the weekend for sure.
We honestly should get more of these. I mean, BYU and Utah did it a little bit ago. Florida and Georgia used to do it every once in a while on the cocktail party. Just color on color matchup. The garnet and gold, the baby blue and the gold, man. Like, it just looks so nice. And it's going to be in the Rose Bowl this year. I think fans will be there because obviously it's in LA. And what better are you going to do in LA in late November, the week before Thanksgiving? So might as well go watch a couple of 500 teams play some ball. And I think that USC has been rough on the road this year. Deshaun Foster has really turned the UCLA Bruins around, even though they lost last time out against Washington. They played well. They get an extra day off because that game was on a Friday night. They don't have to battle. I mean, it's probably still going to take USC 2 hours to get across town, right, to get to the Rose Bowl. So don't have to battle the traffic or anything like that. Of course, the Rose Bowl is not on UCLA's campus, so they're still going to have to drive there. But yeah, I just think UCLA has a really good shot to win this game outright.
Could you imagine, dude? The talk's already so bad with Lincoln Riley, how much worse it would get if they lose this game to UCLA.
Yeah,
and obviously
Lincoln Riley's making $11 million a year, and Deshaun Foster is making about $3 million. And he were to come in the first year and beat Lincoln Riley straight up.
Indy Anton
Lynn, and you got USC. I mean, they're 5-5. They've got to win this game because they got Notre Dame next week. They're very much likelier to win this game to get to a bowl. If you beat Lincoln Riley this week, and he's got to go beat Notre Dame to make a bowl game, obviously this gets UCLA to 5 wins. It keeps them in bowl contention. I think everything's fallen in favor of the Bruins here.
Could you see? I'm honest because I believe that he doesn't. You think Lincoln Riley cares that much about making a bowl at 6 wins? He doesn't seem like the type of guy that really just gives a rat's ass about that.
He'd probably rather just get on with the offseason, sign a recruiting class, get through the transfer portal, like all that stuff. Like, just focus on that.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I was just curious if you thought the same about that with me.
Yeah.
I'm putting the team that's here in my backyard on upset alert. Heartbreaking loss for Mizzou last weekend in Columbia, South Carolina. Just unbelievable that they blew that game at the end like that. After they took the lead with like less than a minute to go, basically, and South Carolina drives straight down the field and scores at the very end of the game on the shovel pass to beat Missouri and end any chances that, like, I know Drink was still preaching. I'm assuming he was probably preaching the same thing to his team, that if we went out, we've got a chance to be in the playoffs, even though we all knew that was probably not the case. But still, that team probably did believe that from their coach. Now that's over with. And now they got to go on the road again. Back-to-back road games, and they're going to sleepy Stark Vegas.
Those Cowboys are going to wake them up.
Yes. To Starkville, Mississippi. I don't know how much Mizzou is just caring about going to Starkville, Mississippi this weekend. But I can tell you, the boys of Mississippi State will be fired up to try to get their first SEC win of the year. And this is their best chance to do just that. And ever since Mississippi State injured their way into a better quarterback situation, they have played some teams better. They've also gotten blasted, of course, by a couple teams as well. But I think Mississippi State can play with Missouri. They're getting 8 points. And I think that Mississippi State can win the game straight up. I definitely think they've got a great shot to cover here in this spot. So I'm putting Missouri as an 8-point favorite on upset alert and thinking that Mississippi State can win this game straight up.
Again, another spot game. Missouri, 7th straight game. Like you said, 2nd straight road game. Mississippi State coming off a bye from last week. So,
yep. And Jeff Lebby. Levy's done a decent job with this roster that's just been depleted, and he's got 2 weeks to prepare.
Yep.
That's not an easy offense to prepare for.
Yep. All right, let's get to best bets. Since we did our live college football playoff reaction show, I gave out some bets on there at the end of the episode if you guys were paying attention. If not, you missed that. I've got 5 I gave out on there, and I've got one more to add. Western Kentucky against Liberty. I took Western Kentucky on the money line to go into Williams Stadium, into Lynchburg, beat the Flames. The Flames they haven't been right this year, haven't looked good. Just don't have much faith in them to do much of anything right now. West Virginia +3 at home against UCF. Low 40s for the weather. Central Knights won't like that, being from Florida. And I think West Virginia is due for a good performance in front of the home fans. Notre Dame -14. We talked about that earlier in the episode. I think they roll Army this Saturday night. And I took Diego Pavia and the boys. The Doors in Death Valley at night. I'm not scared of Death Valley at night anymore. Alabama has just pretty much ruined that for me. So thanks a lot, Tide. And I just think that Diego Pavia and the Doors are 6-1 against the spread as underdogs. We took them last time when they played South Carolina. South Carolina proved to just be more than they could handle. They got a bye week. Pavia was probably, they had played a gauntlet. They had played Alabama. They had played Texas. They had some big teams. They played Auburn, right? Get an extra week off. Bring in LSU, who's just reeling right now. There would be nothing sweeter than to see LSU lose a night game against Vanderbilt and for Brian Kelly to truly be on the hot seat as Notre Dame just waltzes its way into the college football playoff. So that would be nice. And then I mentioned earlier, we took IU +13.5 against Ohio State. And I just added Auburn to win straight up against Texas A&M. And to give you guys a sneak peek, I've already bet Texas A&M to cover the spread next week against Texas. It's currently 7.5 right now.
Okay.
And I took a little nibble right there, +7.5. See what the line does after this weekend. I probably should have waited because I think Auburn can win straight up. So that line might shift a little bit, but whatever. We're having fun here. So those are my bets right now. Lance, what you got?
All right, so last night I gave out Ole Miss -9.5 at Florida. Talked about the game earlier. I just think Ole Miss is a bad matchup for the Gators. Ole Miss in the explosive passing game and pass rush against DJ Lagway. I think they can get more pressure on Lagway. And I just think, Ole Miss is one of the better teams in the country right now. And so I took Ole Miss -9.5 last night, and I also gave out Virginia Tech -3 last night on our episode when they're on the road at Duke. I think the Hokies getting a little healthier right now. I think you're getting some value there. They've had some tough losses this year. I know Duke has played above their heads and has played better football than a lot of people thought, Manny Diaz and the Blue Devils. But I think Virginia Tech gets it done -3 on the road at Duke. I gave out earlier in the episode here today when we were talking about these games, I gave out Minnesota +11.5 at home against Penn State. I think the Golden Gophers defense can keep them in that game. I think they can make enough plays on offense to keep them within the number. I think Penn State gets the game, wins the game, but I think Minnesota can get within that 11.5. And then I gave out Indiana. The line is 13.5 right now, but buying the 0.5 point and taking Indiana -120 odds at +14 against the Buckeyes. I just think Indiana's offense can score enough to keep them in this game. I think Ohio State's issues across the offensive line with Seth McLaughlin, the center, going down that's just, it's awful luck for the Buckeyes, but I think that's going to be a problem for them. It's going to be a problem going forward against the best teams that they play. And so I think Ohio State wins the game, but I think Indiana can get within the number at 14 points. And I think that's all I'm going to go with right now. Some other games I'm looking at. I'm calling it my last stand. Matt Rule's last stand for me. That's what I'm calling it. Last home game, trying to get to bowl eligibility. Wisconsin's heartbreaker against Oregon. Dana Holgerson's now had a few weeks to really work with this group on offensive coordinator. I just think somehow Nebraska gets it done at home this week against Wisconsin, but I haven't bet it yet because I'm tired of betting Nebraska and losing. But I may get there with them.
Yeah.
I'm also looking at TCU minus, I think they're minus 11.5 right now at home against Arizona. I was telling Tyler earlier this was a game I was kind of looking at, and the main reason why TCU's played solid ball in the Big 12 this year, and they can score. There is no problem with TCU's offense. And Arizona, the only two teams they've beaten in Big 12 play, Arizona's defense is awful. They're terrible. The only two wins they have are against the two worst offensive teams by far in the Big 12, which is Houston and Utah. And every team that Arizona has played that has a solid offense, they've gotten lit all the way up. And I just think TCU is going to be able to do that this week as well at home in Fort Worth against Arizona. Arizona State -3 is another one I'm looking at. If it's probably not going to get back to 14, but if Notre Dame gets back to 14, I might take a shot at Notre Dame at 14. Yeah. And two other ones, Mississippi State +8 just gave them out as an upset alert, thinking they could win the game straight up. So why would I not take a shot at them at +8?
Yep.
So I might do that. And then the last one, very off the radar game, North Texas. North Texas is at home against East Carolina. East Carolina has fired their coach. North Texas is -3 at home in Denton. North Texas, their last 4 ball games have played Tulane, Memphis, UTSA, and Army. Literally the 4 best teams in that conference is who they played. So as my dad, Doug Barton, used to always say, North Texas is looking for somebody's ass to whip. And ECU, East Carolina, and the Pirates without a head coach might just be a perfect recipe for that. So I might dip into the old G5 and take me a little North Texas -3. That's
nice.
all I've got.
Sounds good, man. Yeah, check us out on Saturday mornings on X. We release all of our picks on there. We get good traction. We kind of keep record, and we'll probably be back next week to kind of maybe go over, some of the, overall betting records so far, check in on some of the win totals, all that good stuff. We'll be back on Monday with an episode. We'll probably be back on Wednesday with an episode before Thanksgiving. It's kind of our plan right now. Plans could change. We'll see what we want to do. We'll see how much there is to talk about after this weekend, and then we'll go from there. But thank you guys for listening. Spotify, Apple, YouTube. Follow us on X, Instagram, TikTok, all that good stuff. And we appreciate you. Enjoy this weekend. Enjoy college football. There's only a couple weeks left. And we will be back on Monday to recap everything.